Let's pass. This side here.
Okay, this side.
No, this side.
Oh,
this side.
All right.
Moderators, representatives, which other group?
The processors. Do we have them?
Processors and marketers.
Processors and marketers. Where are you? All right. The doctor himself.
Okay.
The doctor himself. Okay. Doctor himself. All right.
Go out 1, 2, and 3. So graph 1.
Graph 1. Where are you? Go out 1. Where are you? All right. Please go.
Go out 1. Do you know this man?
M1. All right. Go out 2. Where are you?
Go out 2.
Go out group 2. Mr. Eko. Mr. Ekwadi. Eko.
Are you representing?
Go out 2. Mr. Eko tó ń gbé Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde. Mr. Tọ́lábọ̀, a kà lè kó bí Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde. That is your ilé Èkó. Èkó Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde.
Àbíọ́.
Ọlọ́yin is representing you.
Okay.
Grow out 3. Grow out 3, where are you? Grow out group 3.
3. Order. Grow out group 3.
All right, your coordinator, your presenters, where are they?
Grass group 3. Who is representing you?
Who is presenting for the group?
Graph. Okay. Mr. Pa Ogu, Abi. Okay. Yes, that's the end. Okay. Is that Madam? Madam, are you representing too? Okay. Are we complete? Okay, okay, marketing.
Marketing and
Doctor.
processors. Marketing and processing, all right.
Okay.
Now, actually operators, they are here.
We want to ask the general house that have you reached a reasonable conclusion? Have you reached a reasonable conclusion?
In our various groups, have we concluded?
Have you concluded?
All right.
Is there any group that didn't conclude? Is there any group that didn't conclude?
Do we have any group which has not reached a consensus? No. All right. I think we should start from the actual operators. Actual operators, where are you?
It's an opportunity. Right. It's going to be a summary of all that was discussed at the various groups you stand. So you can take down salient points. So that eventually when we're going to marry it, whatever the actual operators are saying, anybody can still come up with
you tell us your
an
name,
idea to beautify
the group you are representing. Your name and the group you are representing.
Sorry, Baba, ẹ má bínú sir, hold on. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ̀ọ̀kan tó bá ń sọ́lẹ̀. Do you understand? So we want everybody's attention. And the welfare group, welfare team, please start serving round. So let's listen with rapt attention. Then somebody should, who's going to do the summary? Okay, I want to do the high table. Steve, yeah, so, okay, so this is, Baba, that is my officer.
Thank you very much.
That is my officer. Okay.
Good afternoon, distinguished friends of this country. You are aware that the value chain starts from the hatchery. And so we want to give to the industry high quality fish seed at a good price that can sustain the hatchery operators at the same time give a good profit to the nurturers of the fish seed so that we can all remain in the industry. We have taken costs into consideration. We have taken different operations into consideration. Some use VAT, some use stability system, some use energy funds, and the rest of it. But we have come up with our own prices that we think will sustain us and also sustain out as well. And this is a great opportunity for us to also interact amongst ourselves. As we sat down there, a lot of information was going on. Some of us have learned new things from each other even this afternoon. And so it's a good thing that we come up together each time we do this. In fact, what we intend to do is to extend, we have a WhatsApp page now, we can interact amongst ourselves, submit our prices and what have you, and also bring onto the fold all the other various places like Badagry, Alimosho, Ayobo, Ikorodu, and the rest of them, so that we can all speak in one voice and give you a very good quality feed at a very good price. So we have here different categories of our products. You know that today we have different sizes, starting from they call the Jebu. We don't want to say fries to you that they will die. So we start from the Jebu size to the juvenile size, to jumbo, they call jumbo. I don't like saying jumbo. There's not type of photo style name in jumbo, also in Jebu. But here, for our convenience, we use the Jebu as the beginning of the ladder, and also we use the jumbo at the end of it. I also say that some do hybrid, some do clearance. We also observe that the difference is very, very minimal, and we just do a small variance of price in our pricing. So we will announce the prices, and I want you to please take note and write it down so that you are guided when you go to buy from us. Thank you very much. Yes, we also looking at grammage, because we must standardize in this industry. Don't just carry fish and say 1, 2, 3, 4, give it to you. We'll ask you, what to buy finger, what is the grammage you want? We have so gram, 5 grams, we have 1 gram, we have 9 grams, we have 13 grams. What do you want to buy? And the grammage will depend on what you want to buy, and also will be a function of the price as well. So we have the list here. He will announce to you what the prices are, and please take your pen and paper and write accordingly. Thank you.
Great farmers. Great farmers.
Great nation.
I'm Abiodun Rashid by name. And these are the prices. Number one, Ijebu fingerlings. They are usually between 3 centimeter to 4 centimeter. And their grammage, I will want us to have a kind of table form, because we consider both the length and the weight. Actually, in the picture, as he has rightly said, that we are planning to move to grammage, because the sizes is what we sell. So now, when we have the length one side and we have the weight one side, and the price will not follow. So Ijebu is usually 3 to 4 centimeter in length. Then their grammage is between 0.5 grams to 0.8 grams. That is the variance. And then the price for clearers is 8 naira. The price for hybrid is 10 naira. For fingerlings, it's usually between 4.1 centimeter to 6 centimeter. Their grammage is 0.8 gram to 1.5 gram. And the price is 20 naira for clearers, 22 naira for hybrid. Then post fingerling is 7 centimeter to 9 centimeter. Their grammage is 2.1 centimeter to 4.5 centimeter. Sorry, the gram, sorry, thank you. Yeah, the gram is 2.1 centimeter to 4.5 centimeter. Then 2.1 gram to 4.5 grams. Thank you. Then the price for clearers is 25 naira, and the review price for hybrid is 27 naira. Then we move on to juvenile. Juveniles are usually from 9 centimeter to 12 centimeter. The gram is between 6 grams to 13 grams. Price for clearers is 35 naira, for hybrid is 37 naira. Then for lastly, jumbo is anything that is above 13, anything that is above 12 centimeter, and the gram is usually from 13 grams upward. And the price is for clearers is 45 naira, and for hybrid is 50 naira. That's all.
Now, you have heard the price has been indicated and of course the grammage. And as we said, we are moving to grams. So that you ask me, you have, yes, I have. What do you have? I have 5 grams, I have 6 grams, I have 10 grams, I have 13 grams at Jumbo. What do you want? And then you are guided by the grammage and then the price that you buy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, can we just, I'll give it to you. I just want to quote from it. Thank you very much, sir. Please, I want you to clap for our Baba. And I'll tell you why I've said you should clap for him. Please clap for him very well. Food is coming, Ojembo. He's been a man that has been very consistent with the development of this industry. And he's still not tired. I was very surprised when I saw him sitting here today. Thank you very much, sir, for your contributions all these years. Thank you, sir. This is what the fingerling stroke, let me call it archery operators. This is what they have come up with. This is their recommendation. And I like it when Baba said that we will gradually move to grammage. But I want us to work fast. When you say centimeters, for those of us who are involved with genetic improvements, we have long clarions, we have short-bodied clarions. So when you use centimeters, the short-bodied clarions are big towards the thorax, and they have very big head. The long-bodied clarions are long, with their body size is not as turgid as the small sizes. And so if you are an archery operator and you are running this kind of a system and you work with the CM, you will be deceived because we have genetically worked on it. You all agree to that. And that's why I said we will run fast to go to grammage, but weight is weight. Either it is long, improved clariers or the short improved clariers. It is weight. So I want to agree on the weight thing. The word we call it Jebu, they are for our convenience, and farmers have been used to it over the years. And I was saying to a group, I said, whatever we do now, we are to help the future generation. The generation sacrifices for the other. Some will till the ground, some will plant, some will nurture, some will wet, some will harvest, and some will eat it. So this generation is saddled with that responsibility to help restructure the aquaculture industry. And so we will want to work with the grammage for the purpose of making things easy. Well, it's a cliche to say that we call it Jebu for easy convenience, but the true picture is that the ones we call it Jebu are between 0.5 to 0.8 grams. All right? And so they have recommended to us because we are not the one. Ours is just to ask. So if you now agree to these things, we can now say we will pass it as a communique. Do we all agree that our 0.5 grams to 0.8 grams be sold for 10 naira? And I will come back to that again. Some might not agree with my own position. You see, these smaller sizes, just because some of us have been good in our act of raising those fish, that is why we have decided to come up with simple economics to make it a lot easier for us to run the industry. Ideally, if we have a proper archery operating system and that is well monitored and regulated in Nigeria, the fish between 0.5, please, I want you all to pay attention to this, to 0.8 gram is not supposed to be sold out of your archery, ideally. Except when you want to do domestication,
to say, for example, I want to buy broodstock. And that's why we are getting involved with this industry. It took us a long time for some of us to say, okay, let us throw our weight and see what we can do to help the industry. If you want to run a proper aquaculture project, we are supposed to have some specialists. Most times, it is always the responsibility of the government through the research institute and large-scale investors to set up broodstock bank. The broodstock banks are supposed to be in different locations. But because the cost of keeping the broodstock bank is always very enormous, the government and the knowledge too in the industry too is not enough for people to see that developing broodstock is a different ballgame entirely, that you can actually cut out a niche for yourself and to make money out of it. And when you have broodstock bank, it is not for us to have stagnant systems of broodstock and say, I have broodstock. It must be continuously worked on. And that is why this will still make recommendations and take that special effort to still reach out to our research institutions. I have enough professors who are geneticists who we can discuss with and say, how can we improve on our broodstock? I was saying it to the group, this same group, that there's always this saying, the chicken and the egg, which one comes first? It still remains a riddle to all of us, unsolved riddle. There's no how we can succeed in this industry without we having a proper broodstock program, developmental program. You can take my word to the bank and back. We go nowhere. Yes, we know we have challenges of high cost, but is our problem is the high cost of diesel and feed the only problem?
No.
It's no. The foundation is broodstock development. Before now, when I was a child, on my father's farm, we never believed clarias was catfish you needed to reckon with. The belief was that clarias fish was a local fish. I grew up to know hybrid fish. And we were also doing that in large scale as a child. And when I got to Abeokuta, while studying at the Federal University of Agriculture here, studying aquaculture and fisheries, my interaction with farmers showed that people embrace more of clarias in Abeokuta and Ogun State. And they kept telling us that hybrid doesn't grow fast. So it was strange to me. I want you to mark my words. Those days that I was talking about, I'm talking about close to about 30, 32, 33 years ago as a child. The runs on our farms, the ones you now call the lunch today, that you gave the name the lunch, the runs on our farms were considered as 2 kg, 3 kg fish. And that's what you call your big fish today. Can you see the paradigm that has shifted over time? What we consider as runs on our farms those days were 2 kg, 3 kg fish. All right. So for those of us who have been coming all the way, we understand how the industry has been degenerating over time. But today, when you go to farms, they tell you, if it is not hybrid, I am not stocking. Why is it so? Because those who have been involved with hatchery operations over time have been having serious problems with clarias. In less than 2 weeks, all your fry are dead in the hatchery. And you go back again, you start. And then some say, okay, now let's try hybrid. And you started the hybrid. And what do you call hybrid? It is you bringing, for example, if Mr. Aluko decides to marry, she's married, so we cannot, anyway. Decides to marry Ashabi, your child or your children will be half caste. They will combine positive traits from you and her. They become dominant factors that is seen. For example, you see a very fair, you can't explain the complexion. Say, is it blonde? And then they say it's Latino. They say it's this. But you are going to have an hybrid out of that union that is more resilient, that can speak Mandarin, that can speak Akure, where you're from, that can speak Yoruba, that can speak English. So I'm just trying to explain to us basically what happens when we do that practice of, saying we are bringing the heterographers and the carriers for us to have better results. So the broodstock thing is very, very important. And some of us who have the resources to invest in broodstock development, please, we will still form a group later that you can also be a part of it. Broodstock business is not everybody's business. It is selected. It must be kept at. And today I hear funny stories when they say they want to buy broodstock and they say they have broodstock and they are selling for 1,500 per kilo, 2,000 naira per kilo. If you run a proper broodstock farm, a bag of protein broodstock feed, for those who buy in retail will buy about 21,000 naira thereabout. For those who buy in bulk can have some discount, but it's well over 20,000 naira per bag of that feed. And so when you feed your fish for a period of 3-4 years, how do you sell at 2,500 naira per kilo? You can't even sell broodstock. You won't be able to sell it because the farmer can't buy. So we should know where our problems are from. Thank you for listening, very well to that. So, so for me, I will still have to say that, well, we cannot change the whole order in a day. Some farmers still enjoy buying the so-called Ijebu 0.5 to 0.8 because they're able to raise it. They're not ready to go through the wahala of the hatchery. So it's difficult to say we want to abolish this for now. But we should know that we are not doing the right things. All right, for fingerlings here, I have 0.8 to 1 point. So for me, who is a trained aquaculturist, I wasn't trained to believe in all these figures, and I'm not going to put a weight behind it, really, because we are told fingerlings and juvenile in the cycle of growth of fish, from the eggs to larvae fry, and then the fingerlings, the juveniles, the sub-adults, and the adults. That is the phase. That's the cycle. All right? So when you now say one is post-fingerling, these are as a result of our regulatory bodies in Nigeria not doing what they are supposed to do right. And so everybody is left alone to swim and do anything they like over time. So for fingerlings, I would advise that no farmer, if you want to remain in business, if you want to make profit, I was sharing with the group when some few people walk up to me and they say, "Oh, why you sure we share that with people say very funny things because they do not understand what God has done and your own knowledge. Probably if they have the knowledge you have, they will also be well informed. Knowledge is powerful. Please don't ever joke with knowledge. Whatever you want to do, research, read, ask questions. Don't feel so ashamed to ask questions. Knowledge is powerful. My own background is definitely different from a lot of background people here. Born by a farmer, grew up on the farm, came to study aquaculture, never left fish all my life. Well over 35 years active in the industry. It is not based, but I have also failed many years consistently and learning from those failures. I'm not talking about small failures, failures that you just want to go even hang yourself up when you make huge losses. But here we are today, and we should not just let those knowledge go. That's why we are putting ourselves forward to say, let's help the industry. I was trying to say something about the sizes of this fish. If you want to work smart, when you get your fish from an hatchery operator, either from lesser ground, please try to raise it. Don't ever stock anything into your pond if you are not yet good at raising fish, less than 10 grams. That saves you. But even if you stock at 10 grams, you will have 85% survival if it is well managed at a period of about 90 to 120 days. If you are able to raise those fish to about 30 grams, you can be sure you will have nothing less than 95% survival. Your profit in this business is yield, Number one, how many fish are able to survive at the end of the day? Number two, weight. Your profits. So I was making a scenario and I said to farmers, I said, okay, if you say you have our average cost of raising fish now is about 1,300 to 1,400 naira per kilo. So if you are unfortunate, you are not able to raise up to a kilo, you are not making profit. And as a smart fish farmer, your profit starts from the extra weight on it. That is why our Ijebu fathers, when you go to their farm, they have 2, 3, 4, 5 kilo. And I used to say something jokingly, which is true. Any òwò tẹ́ bá rí ará Ìjẹ̀bú tó bá ṣe òwò dáadáa ni. That is the truth. Any business you see an Ijebu man do, and an Ijebu man is doing it well. The Ijebu man is smart. He's endowed naturally to do business. So any òwò tí Ìjẹ̀bú bá ṣe òwò dáadáa ni. But iṣẹ́ ìgbà yẹn ọjọ́ ìbò ti fẹ́ bu wá lọ́wọ́ nítorí pé wọ́n ti change gbogbo ẹ̀ sí. Those days, sir, fish in Ìjẹ̀bú, you will sell 3 kg, 4 kg, 6 kg, 10 kg. That's the way they used to sell, and those Eastern buyers will come and buy. And the people in some other areas, I will not mention their name, they keep struggling and say, "How don't you share? Àwọn Ìjẹ̀bú tẹ́ndì, wọ́n lò nǹkan, wọ́n ṣe bá wọn ṣàwò." At some point I heard they say they put a lot of addict. It is a lie. It is whatever you give. Because they understand this act of practice. You will never go and put 0.5 grams fish inside your water, sir. And you expect in 6 months maximum to get 4 or 5 kg. It's not going to happen. So I don't want to waste most of our time because I don't know why the food is not going on. Because I'm sure quite a number of us are hungry. Welfare, please, can you 5 more minutes for the food, please? It's very important. And so I advise when you want to stop, minimum of 10 grams. That is considered as standard fingerlings. They say that's fingerlings. So, but how many people can afford it? So the price they are recommending. So I'm going to be talking about what the ideal is for 6 to 13 grams. I will please, these are recommendations from them. But because we know what the ideal thing is supposed to be, I will please want to prevail that we'll do the ideal thing. These are recommendations from the group. But the ideal thing, let's try to put ourselves forward and say, let's make this sacrifice for this industry and for the coming generation. The ideal thing for us to say is 10-gram fingerling. And then we consider fingerling across board. Okay, a 10-gram fingerling. For clearance, here that I'm seeing an average of 6 grams to 13 grams. So I'll put that for 10 grams. So they are saying that a 10-gram fingerling should go for 35 naira. That's for the clariers. And for the hybrid, 37 naira. I wouldn't know how well you've done your costing, but I would want to say instead of 37 naira for the clariers, I would want to say 40 naira. It's a suggestion. Do we agree? Do we agree? For the hybrid, yes, for the hybrid. I would want to say, because the Congress, National Assembly, let the high side, let the say hi. I'm not a parliament member. So maybe one day you will make me one. But the truth of the matter is, do we agree?
Then, Mr. Steve.
Yes.
Mr. Steve, I think we'll need the reaction of the grower producers because
we will get
so let's see their reaction to that.
You have something to say, sir?
Yes, please come and hire.
Promotion Steven, please. In our deliberation in the hatchery, we consider the growers that are going to be the ends buyers, and we also look at the population of Nigeria. They have the choice of changing their tastes if our price is too high. And we believe that if we have priced ourselves out of the market, it's going to be to our own detriment. So we want to be moderate with the cost of things. So that's why we put that transfer.
Yeah, I said something different from what you have agreed with. You said your clearance 35 naira. You agree? Have you done your mathematics very well? Because this is a communique that will go out. He said you have agreed on 35 naira for your clearance, right?
10 grams clearance, according to what is in the book. Hybrid, what is in the book is 37. But do you know why I pushed you to do 40? How many people has the broodstock bank of heterobanthus? I visit some farms and I see what they call broodstock heterobanthus. If it were not because I was putting on my footwear, I would have shown you the mark I had about 26 years ago of what an heterobanthus fish of 18 kg did to me in water. It tore my leg and got stitched. I go to farms, I see 2 kg, 1 kg, they say it's broodstock heterobanthus. And then you kill about 10 before you can get the meat out. All right? If you will kill, I'm sure some of you do hybrid now, yes or no? Sometimes you sacrifice up to 10 before you get your meat, right? Unlike clarias, when you open it up in 7 months, you already have the gonals being developed already that you can use to breed. Okay, so I would suggest that you maintain 40 naira is a recommendation for your hybrid at 10 grams. Don't worry, this is for you to protect the hatchery operators. Because there can't be chicken without egg, there can't be egg without chicken. We don't know what comes first either. Because without you, grow-out farmers will never also be in existence. And the grow-out farmers too, some of them also produce their own fingerlings. But the hatchery operators are a factor we must deal with. And so quickly, for the juveniles, okay, you call it jumbo, but those are supposed to be the juveniles. 10 grams and above is supposed to be the juveniles. And then you say, well, you call it jumbo for the purpose of this. But in our community, as we begin to go along, we fine-tune a few things that we'll share within the house. It is recommended that the hybrid, the clarias is sold for 45 naira, and the hybrid is sold for 50 naira. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Somebody is saying no. Can I have your opinion?
Great farmers, my name is Eko John Nicholas from Ijebu. I think that it be proper to harness all the stakeholders, so let's all the committee or whatever that was formed. So let's harness what they have. So after everything, before we can begin to say, okay, let's vote item by item on price of seed. Should we say this and that? We all agree. On price of fish packaging, so that it's better we harness everything first.
Okay. So thank you very much for that, sir. Which group is next, Mr. Sheikh?
Yes. Let's have the what's it called? The feed producers.
Feed producers. Okay.
The feed producers.
No, so the feed producers, wait. Some bring in feed into Nigeria. They don't produce in Nigeria. So the feed producers will be in 2 segments.
Okay, I think what we're going to do is the local.
So you say local and importers.
Yes. Then the importers, what we're going to do with the importers are, they'll come and tell us their problems, not their family problems, because we know they have a lot of challenges bringing in these things, and it's peculiar to all of them. So we need to hear from them, so we know what we'll push forward to assist them. Because if we assist them, then we can benefit from it in the long run. So we'll need, hold on. So we're going to need 1 or 2 representatives from the feed companies. So he's going to talk about.
They were with us. I'm going to speak holistically.
Okay.
And at the feed group, we didn't even look at selling price. We looked at feed. We know that feed is about 75%, 70 to 80% actually of cost of production of fish. So we looked at the factors that are affecting the consistent changes in the prices of feed. What can we do about it? And then give recommendations to grower farmers who depend on this feed on how to manage feed or how to manage the feed costs in their cost of production generally. We didn't actually look at cost of production of feed and recommending prices. No. What we looked at was what are the factors that are affecting the consistent changes in the cost of feed Are there things we can do about some of them as a group and as individuals? And then for the farmers, what do we need to do while looking at the feed part of our cost so that we will not shoot ourselves in the leg on the long run? So for the feed group rather, we looked at factors that are affecting the cost of feed. And one of those factors that we considered was the insecurity, especially in the north. Most of the feed materials that are being used to produce our feed, both the floating ones and the locally produced ones, are produced predominantly in the north, or were produced in the north. In fact, a representative of Olam told us that they had an anchor borrowers project with a lot of farmers in the north that were producing for them. So then they were buying about 60% of their feed materials from the north. But that is no longer in existence because those farmers have been chased out of their farm by insecurity. So what can we do about that as individuals, as a group? Practically nothing for the north. But for the south, this is the southwest group. What can we do about that? What we need to do about that is begin to look inward. We have land areas around our farms. Let's begin to do some maize, some GNC, some soya. That will not be enough. That's not giving us enough volume. There are some secured areas around the southwest. In Ogun State, for instance, there are a lot of schools, FUTA, UNAM, and all the institutions around Ogun State have large acres of land. A lot of them still bush. As a group, we need to begin to approach the institution as a group to say, we need this. We need about 100 tons of maize for 2023. FUTA, how much of this can you produce for us? UNAM, Oshele, what amount of land do you have? We have this amount of money, or we want to approach CBN for this loan or this grant for soya, maize, and GNC. So that if Olam needs about 100 tons, and as a group we can provide 50 tons with our collaborations with these secondary schools and higher institutions around the southwest, where there's some level of security, then we will have been able to provide more feed materials and bring down the cost. And then the other factor that they are looking at is that when local production was not available for feed materials, they started importing. But forex, increase in forex has led to high cost of importation. And as a group, we practically cannot do anything about that. Government needs to actually work on that. The other factor that affects them is clearing costs at the ports. Clearing costs at the ports, as a group, maybe we will not be able to do anything about that. Transport cost is also affected by diesel. Moving goods here and there, prices changes consistently. And each time the price changes, they have to factor that into their cost of production. There's also multiple taxation on the road. You see the custom, you see VIO, you see all of that. Asking for Ogun State hot paper, Lagos State paper, Osun State paper. I was traveling with a bus driver, I think 2 weeks ago to Badagry, and he brought a bucket of papers. He had about 100 different papers that he had to pay for, just moving goods from one end of town to the other. So we may need to speak with our regulators, policy makers to say, let's harmonize these things so that the cost of transporting our feed materials will come down to an extent. Then alternative feed materials. Over the years, we have depended on soya, maize, fish meal for feed materials. Each time we begin to look at what options do we have. Someone mentioned BSF lava. Some people say, oh, that's irritating. But so how do we do it better? Some people say BSF lava is working. Some people are saying it's not working. Can we deliberately, as a group, begin to look at it? The group that is saying it's working, what are they doing? The other group that is saying it's not working, what can they do to make it work? So that we can harmonize these alternative sources of feed materials to bring in cheaper feed materials into our production cycle. BSF lava, maggot lava, some other things. Some people were using some other kind of beans material, okpa, and all of that. Can we begin to look at them scientifically and look at how we can mass produce some of these things in the southwest so that we can go into our feed inputs and then bring down our cost of production? Then as advice. So for the advice, we said let's produce more feed individually and as a group. Let's deliberately begin to look at, as cooperative groups, what can we do to provide some of these feed materials so that if it's just 10% of what we need of the soya, of the maize, of the ESC that we need in our cooperative that we are able to produce at a cheaper rate, it reduces our cost of production. Then in calculating for farmers, in calculating our cost of production while you are selling, you have produced fish for about 4 or 5 months and you want to sell. Don't use the cost of feed 4 months ago when you started to calculate your cost of production. For instance, 2mm Blue Crown increased from 10,860 last week to 11,300. So if I'm selling fish today and I want to calculate my cost of production, I wouldn't use 10,860 that I bought it 4 months ago. I will use 11,400. I'm going to buy it when I'm stocking another set of fish next month. Because if I use 10,860 and I calculate my profit at 30%, I'm deceiving myself. Because eventually when I'm going to stock another batch of fish, what was my capital then will not be sufficient to raise another batch of fish. Do you understand what I'm saying? If your capital when feed was maybe 10,860 was 750,000 naira to produce 1 ton of feed, with the new cost, if you are using Olam, your capital, the capital you will need will be like 900,000 naira. So for this batch that you want to sell, when you want to calculate your cost, use 900 naira to calculate your cost of feed, so that would determine your selling price. If your markup price is 30%, you know that 30% starts from 900,000 naira, not from 750,000 naira. So then, of course, we said we need to begin to look at alternative feed materials that will help us to bring down our cost of feed and bring
production based on the initial cost of feed, which is right. Companies put their own prices up on almost every fortnight now. Once dollar rises against the naira, and I can bet my bottom dollar in the next 1 week have an increment in the price of feeds. So as farmers, we should work smart to say, yes, we'll be having regular times to come like this together to review our costs and prices. So I agree to that, sir, that we must have a markup to create a safety net for us, so that whichever way we jump twice or 3 times within a short period of time, we are still safe. Because our own market is more stable. Theirs is a bit volatile because products keep going up and it's out of control. They spend more of dollar. Yeah. So we need to do more work together to work with our research institutions. That I know, we call some items people put together to feed fish, non-conventional feeding practices or items. Some will say, okay, use this, use that, but they are not conventional really. We need to always substitute, because don't forget that human beings eat this end product, which is fish. The BSF lava is a novel idea that is coming up, that is an alternative to animal protein. It's also animal, but it's more of a better alternative to fish, all right, protein. Globally, fish protein is very expensive. And it will become more expensive because our water bodies globally have been overfished, highly depleted, and so it will continue to go up. So we need to begin to work with research institutions. But we will not let it end there. Individuals will find it difficult to work with research institutions. I think we as a group that we're trying to do, we will, in a matter of few days from now here, also, because this community will help us, we'll also share with them and say, this is where we are in the industry. What can you do? If they need funding to do research, if we are strong enough as a group, we can help them get the funding and say, work on these alternatives for us. So I want us to, yes, we need the government to be, the regulatory body. We cannot do all these things without the government. But the distressed economy cannot bring out money to save you now. We are trying to stop the bleeding. The truth is that our economy is being distressed. And so we as farmers must find out strategies that would allow us to survive. So I agree to that. Which other points did you also make mention of? Production of feed materials Yeah. Production of pig materials in the southwest. Good idea. If we're able to pull ourselves together, we can also walk up to Holland and say, Southwest farmers, I'm just saying that for example, what you just said, which is a good idea, and I thank you all for deliberating like that. We can say, Southwest farmers, we can give you 1 metric tons of corn. Fish farmers at also price. I will begin to negotiate. And so, but another person will say, how many corn do you want to produce for your family? So we need to also replicate these things with other key players in the agri sector, that their core is into maize, the Maize Farmers Association, exactly. And more collaboration must be fostered amongst us, because we cannot exist as an isolate. Thank you very much. We will still, like Mr. Eko said, we will still crop all the ideas. This is your raw data presentation, and this is our own input in it, all right? It's just our own little input in it to say, okay, we are thinking in the right direction, and at the end of the day, we will still take the votes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
The next group, please.
I think let's have the processors. Let's have the processors.
Processors.
Yes. Why is it that is a man that is coming out as a processor? We don't have any woman speaking. You have a lot of women there. Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abayomi Laduru Jayi, representing the processors in-house. We deliberated on quite a number of issues: the quality of the fish we are processing, the water content and stuff. At the end of the day, we came up with the following points. We agreed that we all need to work more on certifications and registrations, NAFDAC approval and stuff. And we are looking forward to a situation whereby we'll be able to approach the body responsible for that in Nigeria, NAFDAC, whereby they are going to make it easier for us to be able to register our products. Now, we also went on to the export side of it, because for us to be able to export this product, we are at the best position to determine what level of production we are likely going to get in the country. If we are able to sell more, producers will produce more, and that will generally be good for the industry. So we're looking at how best can we improve on that. We're not looking at the export market. Going into the export market, we are aware that some of us are already exporting, but not to the quantity, not to the level that it's supposed to be. What are the limiting factors? One of them is that those places where we seem to be having the expected market, for instance, the US, for instance, we have limitations. Our fish in the country is not being accepted. We are aware of what happened in the past, the quality of fish we produced, what led to that. But we've gone ahead, we've gone beyond that at this level. We are now producing dried fish, not smoked fish. So, but we still have that challenge of not being able to penetrate those markets. So we are here seeking the support of our Baba, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo GCFR, to help us wade into that. See how we can break that barrier, how we can walk through FTA and other control bodies and sell directly to those places where our fish is in high demand. That will definitely be a lot of benefit for the country. We'll be able to generate direct income into the country. So that is one of the outcomes. And then also, we are placing a demand on our producers, producing fish for us. We processors come, we've been through a lot. We see a lot of things when we're producing. You want to process at times, it's going to be all oil. At times to produce, the taste is not there. I think we need to control that. So we're placing that demand on our producers. Please help us look into that. There should be a control body monitoring producers. Some feed fish with all sorts of things. and we eat these things. So please, we are placing that demand on producers to help us produce good quality fish that we can process and export. That is also very, very important. In summary, on the selling price, we've come to agree that our selling price should be between 10,000 naira and 11,000 naira for dried fish, depending on the moisture content and the locality we are selling to. Per kilo, thank you. That is our sufficient. Between 10,000 and 11,000 naira. That is considering all variables at the present selling price of fish. We have just introduced a considerable profit of 20%. If fish price goes up, our markup goes up. So for now, it is 10,000 naira to 11,000 naira per kilo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's a very good one. We'll have Dr. Akweshola buttress a little more on the points, since they are in the same group.
Great farmers. Yes, it was a very interesting session, and it made me to also realize that I've been underselling my oven-dried catfish, and from all indication, it's not going to be the same again. And I would want to implore all of us that are farmers that there's nothing wrong in also adding value to your product. It helps. And remember, when you have that pressure, and most of the pressure comes from the fact that you feed the fish every day, and you've not gotten market yet. But once you have smoked and oven dried the fish, it stops eating, and you start earning thereof. So it is something that is worth doing. Then we had some interesting people in the group. At least we have 2 people that have the NAFDAC permit already for oven-dried fish. And it is not rocket science when I was told how they went about it. So having NAFDAC permit on your product put a stamp of authority in the local market. And it also is also one of those conditions that will be asked of from the international market. So we can get the NAFDAC thing as a group. We can also get it individually. If you are interested in being part of the processing and marketing group, you are always welcome to put down your name, so that, because we are going to have a WhatsApp group where we are going to take it up from where we finalized today in terms of training on processing and some other aspects, so that beyond just being an armchair farmer, you can also add value to your product to sell. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akweshola.
Okay.
The processors.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay, you want to deliberate on the processors? Okay, go ahead, boss.
The processors, before now, used to be very handy because they are the big boys in the industry. They are actually the ones cashing out the money. If you agree with me, say yes. I'm not talking about the one that speaks grammar like Imo. I'm talking about their bookies.
We discussed about marketing of live fish too, because it's not all about processing. And we know that the grow-out people would have done justice to that. But we also realize that part of the problem of typical farmers, not necessarily in the fish alone, in poultry as well, we are not aggressive. Although we are changing our dynamics now, we are becoming more aggressive with our sales. All farmer is a marketer. Don't just sit and wait for buyers. Now, we looked at what are the ways to increase your sales in marketing. We are not talking about price now. we are talking about what are those things that we should do. We realize that one of them is good customer relationship with your customers. It is key. If you want to retain your customer, you have to maintain a good relationship with them. And how do we mean by this? One, when there is scarcity, there are some customers of yours that do volume, they are consistent. Such people should be given a priority in your selling schedule. You don't, because there's scarcity, close your eyes to your normal buyers. I don't know whether you realize that even in petrol station, during scarcity, some people are allowed to take the front gate in. These are, you say, engineer, Egbawaju, because those customers, when there is surplus, they buy from that petrol station. So the same way, let's try to have our customer base and we treat them specially. Sometimes in my place, some of them will just come and meet me when we want to sell. Doctor, we won't buy us minerals. I will tell them to give them soft drinks. These are relationship building. We should try to see that. Then secondly, our network is our network. Our being together makes us greater. I belong to a group that we normally send sales alerts. When we have fish on our farm to sell, we send the sales alerts that we are selling, and we put the address and phone number. That way, other people that have buyers but they don't have fish, they will send that same alert to that person. So with this, the issue of gluts will not come in place. Then another thing we realize is that farmers should be stocking in a systematic order. If you have a capacity of 10,000, it is not advisable you stock 10,000 in a day, because by the time they are getting ready, you'll be under pressure to feed daily, you'll be under pressure to sell.
But if you want to carry out a simple analysis now, we check the what's it called, the body blood pressure of the grow-out producers. I think it's going to be the highest in the house. Right thing. So that's why we have them split into three, and we'll have three people. Or do you have more representatives? Okay, so we have to listen to them with rapt attention, please. So just bear with us. All we're trying to do from this end is I will try and see if we can wrap up everything by 3 o'clock. Then Baba can meet us here too, so we can summarize the whole thing. But definitely we'll go home with a lot of take-homes and we'll do justice to all of this. Thank you for your patience. So the group one for the, although, do you want to say anything on this first? Okay, so please, we'll jump and let's have the broad producers. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to say a big thank you to our conveners and the organizers of this program, and everyone that has come. May God bless you all. All right, a lot has been said already, and no need to mince words, because you're very right about what the grow-out are experiencing at the very moment, at this very moment. And I'm grateful that we can put up a program like this to help all farmers across Nigeria. And I pray that it will be fruitful for every one of us. Now, in our group, we deliberated quite a lot of things. And we seem to have a very interesting dilemma at this point, because I must really commend the feed millers or the feed group. After what he has said, you all agree that he made mention of how the cost of feed can actually come down. And since we are here to deliberate about fixing our prices to a place where everybody can benefit, then I think what he has said puts us in a position where we need to reconsider that actually our prices can actually come down, not just for our own benefit, but benefit of those who are going to buy as well. But having said that, convener said something too that I really did not think about initially, and that was about the markup, meaning that at different times that the prices of product or the prices of feeds may go up, we are still within the bracket of safety, which is very important. So, but what we agreed eventually was not to haggle over the prices, but to stick to the price that we have fixed. So what we did was to take like a survey of our present cost of production for everyone that was on the group, and we found out that people range between 950 and 1,400 that Baba spoke about. So we definitely agree that we cannot go below 1,500 selling price for fish. So, and this is as a result of some factors that we were able to point out. We were able to point out some factors, and the reason was because at some point we could not even come to terms whether we can have a uniform price. And there were so many factors to consider because there are some people I gave a little analysis about somebody who has his farm in Ofada and somebody who has his farm close by to the market. Accessibility is a factor. You don't expect the person to sell at the same price or a buyer to buy at the same price. So that leaves us with a challenge. But what we agreed was the minimum price we can sell is 1.5. If you have the opportunity to sell above that, you can go ahead based on your own marketing strategy. But the least price that we agreed for grower farmers, based on everything that we have discussed so far, is 1,500. Yes, per kilo. Yes. And the reason, well, we have not really talked about that. Well, we tried to, but eventually, when we got to that area, we still had, two factions. Some people were still saying that there were bulk buyers, and I think the professor even admitted that some people come to buy in bulk. Now, the Hausas that come to this game, they buy as much as 2 tons, 3 tons sometimes. And sometimes you don't even expect somebody who's just buying 40 kilo to buy at the same rate that you buy. The reason why it's easy for many people to buy the melange that we say is because number one, there's no sorting involved. Some of those people who buy those other prices other fishes at higher prices because they know that one, they're not buying too many, then two, they are buying a particular kind of size for a particular market. But sometimes the people that buy the melange, they just save us the stress of sorting our fishes. If you're ready to sell, whether the fish is the fingerling, and that's where we still need to beckon on those who are selling, because we talked about that as well. Those who are selling the seed. Maybe after some time you find out that your fishes are not doing well. A buyer can capitalize on that and say that this guy is under a panic state and buy at any ridiculous price. All right, so we the reason why we had this price differences was because our cost of production vary, our locations too vary, marketing strategies vary, so we will not be able to really have a uniform price. But like we agreed, we are selling at the minimum of 1,500. So the solution to be able to achieve this, we came up with togetherness, which is very important. That we must pass information to everyone, and farmers must be well informed. Talking about we must communicate amongst ourselves and assist ourselves. We talked about informing ourselves in areas of factors of production. How we can put together the best management practices in fishery generally, train our staff, and general operations, finances, managing our finances, and the rest of it. All that we need to do to be able to achieve that. Because we discovered that even if we sell our 2,000 naira, some people will still run at a loss. So I think it's important as farmers to work together, educate ourselves, inform ourselves, and if possible, we can send out some supervisors to look into some farms and see their operations. Are these people running this business the way it's actually supposed to be run? Because some people, they are the ones that shoot themselves in the leg. They don't do it the way they are supposed to do it, and they run out of loss. But if we know that you are following the system the way it's supposed to be done, then we can go along with you and support you. So I feel that it is important that we work together to educate each other, train ourselves, and monitor ourselves.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So, because I don't want to forget reviews, that's why I like to do it one after the other. Please come here. That was a wonderful presentation. The reason why we are here is for our collective survival and profitability. It is very instructive. Very, very instructive. If we don't come together, like Baba said, we will sink together. And there's another military term too that I learned some years back. It is called MAD, Mutual Assured Destruction. It's a military term. If we don't do what we need to do now and take that difficult decision to save ourselves, to survive together, I'm sure nobody can fault the receiving side. And I made a proper analogy at the first presentation I made at the beginning of the plenary. That's whatever we do, we must begin to check our books now. And it is what the feed buyers buy. That is what they sell. Why they have that increment all the time, it's not their fault. It is because they check their books and they see we are making profit, We farmers don't check our books. Against the backdrop of people saying they agree on different sizes or not, we will unanimously, we must, otherwise we are gone. We must unanimously agree that a kilo of a fish is a kilo of a fish. This is the best time to just forget that segregation. Otherwise, the future is bleak, guys. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Hold that people here. The future is bleak, babas and mamas. I'm not talking to church. So I draw that. The future is bleak. We must create that safety net for ourselves. And we must expand the net. So if the processor comes to your farm and you say, okay, this is my fish. It's 1,500 naira per kilo. Either it's the one you call the noise or whatever. I don't know what you call it. You've got to take the market. What we're trying to do now is to rally around all the farmers around this idea and to take ownership. If you lose this opportunity, you can never get it again. If we lose this opportunity now, we can never get it again. The processors that might be at the receiving end, that they buy at those ridiculous prices before, and they hit that profit. And that was why I said it was a sarcasm that I made, that the processors were the big boys in the industry. The narrative must change. Because if they kill you, you can't give them fish. That's the idea. As growers, if you are no more in business, what will you process? So when you buy the fish you want to process from the growers, then you go and have your markup. And it's reasonable, like Dr. Agbajola said. The 20% markup is okay for you. Why we are where we are is because there has never been any structure by any group of people. Government will not come and regulate your prices for you. We are not in UK now, and we are not in the US, where there are regulations. You already know how much you are going to make from the one that you put your fish in water. And if you are not selling, you already know the government has a solution to uptake your product from you and pays you and tells you, okay, don't be discouraged. We'll give you more money, continue to produce. Who cares about that in Nigeria? Who watches your back for you? So please, we must take that difficult decision to agree to strike out the segregation. Either some farmers agree or they don't agree. It is a moving train. It's a gradual war. They say when they resist, in Baba's word, you persist. Oh, change is not meant to come easily. People don't like to change easily. They will fight you because they have been winning you, they have been ruling you, they have been dominating you. They don't want you to survive. But I bet my bottom dollar, they will come after us. But God is with us. That's what I'm telling you. God is with us. So when you buy fish from your farmer, because there must be an equilibrium. And like what Mr. Eko said, that we still have to come together and agree to all these things. But we know that we are in trouble. If you don't increase your price of selling price today of your grow out fish, by tomorrow, the dollar is likely to still go up. Diesel will still go up. For those of you who think you are not using diesel, petrol is coming up. Diesel started like petrol. Wake up. The time we took a decision to buy diesel buses for moving of our fishes, diesel went to 580. I thought I was smart. When to the NNPC, I approved money in our organization. I said, go and buy 1,000 liters of diesel. We were lucky, we bought at 480. Then it was general. That 1,000 liters finished in less than 2 weeks. When it finished, it was already 600. How much is it today? 800. These are things staring at us directly. 800. And then will I now approve another? I said, okay, Eloman, again. Because it will go up again. So let's tell ourselves the truth, though. We have not come here to joke. We all have, farmers are hardworking people. And I tell people who are dishonest in farming can't last 5 years. You will fizzle out because your dishonesty will pave way to hang you. For you to be consistent, 5 years, 10 years, our mama says 17 years, and she's saying like a joke. 17 years of struggles. 17 years of hard work. This man came in less than 4 years, he's already sweating. Forget he's putting on coats. If you don't help him, you know how many Nigerians working with him? He has over 100 Nigerians working with him in his farm. So if you don't help him and he goes out of business, what happens to those people? So what happens to them? I know of 4 major farms. I don't want to mention their names. They are gone, as in gone. I'm talking about, and why they decided to shut down is because they have been able to put pen on paper. These are investors' funds. It is because we farmers don't think like business owners. That's why we don't know enough is enough. For example, in my own organization, we wanted to take a business decision. And I said, no, guys, it looks so good and brilliant. And, our staff was talking about it. I said, no, business decisions are not taken that way. It looks glamorous. Let's put pen on paper. Let's see if we put this equal energy into this, I will put this equal energy into this. Which one pays us better? You might be putting huge amount of energy into this and getting minimum profit, and you put little energy into this and you are not distracted and you get maximum profit. So you don't know until you put the details down. Because we don't do that, that's why we are as farmers. And we have discovered that if we don't come out to do this, we will all perish. So those segmentations, if we have to impose it, we have to impose it. It is because we don't have viable associations. And that's why Baba said, we should come together as one. We don't have Cockrell Association of Nigeria and Cockrell Association. We don't have Tilapia Association of Nigeria. Sorry, Cockrell Association of Nigeria. It's fun. Fish is fish. Let's come together. And then we can now deal with our peculiarities. We can. Because if we don't come together, we speak with different voices, we get distracted, and we go nowhere. And our enemies will continue to capitalize on that. Pay anyone who won't fix the price. But then whoever tickle, because in Qatar they achieve. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Steve. Like I said, wake up, correct your money. You understand? I've never seen anywhere that the fishmongers or the middlemen go to buy fish with a gun. Is there anywhere? No. Do you understand? So we are the ones undoing ourselves, and with the way we are coming up now, I think there will be great improvement. So let's just be attentive. So we'll have the other group from the grass group. Then the other group, the third person, there's a third group. Okay, there's a third group. You can join him too, so we can quickly summarize. Baba, you can join him then. Because of the age, I'll give you a seat so you can sit around.
Great farmers. Well, my name have not changed. I still remain Eko John Nicholas from Ijebu. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Steve, I love where you stopped. We are here to discuss our lives. We are not discussing as we fish farmers. We are, except you are not a fish farmer, you are a political farmer or an army. But if you are a real fish producer that goes into the pond, pump water, or you are paying and you are into fish production, what we are doing here is our life we are discussing. And that is why somebody like me, I'm bleeding. We talk of for our collective survival and profitability. Mr. Steve have told us here, 4 big farms have closed down. And I want to say, sir, as we are here now, over 200 farmers from Ijebu, particularly Congr, they have left business. Some of them are here sitting down. Some of them just left a week or two ago that are here, hoping that when they come here, there's going to be a succor for them that they will take back. Why? Flood took away over 500 million naira investment, hard-earned money, owó oníru, owó oníyọ̀, owó aláta, cooperative money that flood took away. But we are happy that today, when the community is written and read out, the issue of Ijebu land and the Congr specifically, flood that have been disturbing us as a result of just a stream that cannot get to my ankle. But because the government have refused to dredge the stream, and it's the construction of road in Ijebu town that is bringing volume of water into that stream, has made the stream to overflow. That has affected us in that axis. And if nothing is done, as we stand here, we'll be out of business. And it may interest all of us to know here, in the Congr axis, the flood affected more than 5 clusters that has over 1,500 workers, a section of farmers, 200 farmers that is affected. We have over 500 workers working under those farmers. There's somebody sitting here in this hall that lost over 50 tons of fishes. He's here. He was part of the committee on feed that was being discussed. But let's leave it at that. As the first producer just said, I'll be towing this line. But we did not just stop at saying that fish must be sold at this price. We gave reasons why we felt that 1,500 naira and above is what a kilogram of fish should be sold for. But we went ahead to analyze it so that some of us don't just feel that we just felt that okay, we should just put a price 1,500. How did we come about that? To produce a kilogram of fish, starting from juvenile, you will need to stock 1,500 pieces of fish. In fact, when we were doing our, we never knew that the seed has gone up. We used 30 naira per fish, and that would be 45,000 naira just to buy the seed. Then we now said that we need feed. How many feed do we need to produce that 1 kg? We will need 97 bags of fish. And that 97 bags of 50 kg, yes. We use EcoFloat 3 ml as a yardstick. But don't forget, all of them are juvenile, all of them will not take 4 ml. 3 ml. They might take 2 ml. That 2 ml, we use Blue Crown. That Blue Crown will be 10 bags. So we'll be using 97 bags of fish. And at that 97 bags of fish, feed, as I have said, using 3 ml EcoFloat flat rate, we said EcoFloat as at today, not tomorrow, today, because they might change it tomorrow. As at today, is 8,685 naira per bag. And if you are buying 97 bags, hello sir, if you are buying 97 bags, that will come to 842,445 naira. You will need to rent a pond. Even if you are not renting, let's take the cost on that pond. You will need 25,000 naira to rent a pond for 5 months. We also talk of labor. You will need to pay labor 5,000 per month. You need net to cover your fish, 5,000. Then you need to pay yourself salary. At least your salary every month should not be less than 20,000 naira. Logistics, carry your feed and others. Your logistics will go for 9,700. And if you put your security, for those of us who put security in our farm, 500 naira per month, you are having 2,500 in 5 months. But you had others. Our others now went to our other includes miscellaneous. So we have 50,000 naira for others in case of other things that might crop up. Then we now talk of cost of fuel. Our cost of fuel, we use 60% of our total cost of production for fuel. As a result of natural disaster or whatever, we said there is a need now to be, because director talk of 9, to begin to insure some of our ponds, even when those insurance companies come. What they did not tell you when you were signing agreement, they will begin to bring all kinds of excuses, and they will not pay. That's why a lot of farmers run away from insurance. But that notwithstanding, we put insurance 2% of your total cost. At the end of the day, sir, after we have added everything together, we came to 1,314 naira 779 kobo. That's what we came to. Then we now concluded that if that is what we are having, if we must sell fish profitably, we have to sell at 1,500 naira per kg. That is that. Thank you. Then additionally, we now said that as a result of those challenges we are having, like flood, that there is a need for governments across Southwest to create access roads. Because I'm sure that for some of us sitting here, most of our farm roads, when rainfall, we can hardly move around. Congr as is a classical example. When rain falls, none of us can apply that route. You might have to wait. In fact, if not for God, some of us were almost carried away at the last rain with our bike. People were rushing down to farm, sir, as at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. to ensure that rain don't didn't carry their people when they got there. They were watching while the flood was washing away their fishes. So we also said that it's also important for government across Southwest, especially in Ogun State, particularly in Ijebu-Ode, because a lot of us, we are farming along the river banks, even when we are far away from it, that there's a need to dredge all these streams where fish farmers are located. Then above all, we felt that it's also important because the director told us The truth is, if we begin to say that government is broke, why government is broke? They are stealing all the money. Somebody sold, hello sir.
Oga, calm down, sir. We can understand, we feel the pain.
Excuse me.
Calm down, sir. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It is well.
We understand how it feels. These are the people who wear the real skin and scar of the industry.
And you can see the reason why I'm wearing black today, like I told you earlier.
And yes, it might have overreacted at some point. It is born out of frustration. Except if you are not a farmer. Forget how we are dressed. Except if you are not a farmer. Like you said, if you are probably an armchair farmer or a political farmer, that you have options. But if your life depends on this that we are doing, you will feel the same frustration. Same way he has expressed himself. But, you know, we will still need the government.
Yes.
That's why we plead that you should calm down. Be calming down, sir. Our generation says, mommy, daddy, be calming down. You no go die, sir. Our farmers, by God's grace, I can imagine somebody who has raised 50 tons of fish submerged in water, gone. And you are here. I want to commend your efforts, sir. You are a strong man. And by God's grace, history will not forget you, but history will be kind to you. And that's why we are pleading with you all that please, this is not because of anybody's selfish interest or for what we want to get individually. It is for our collective survival. Because we are dying. Just imagine this Congress is not being held at this crucial time. We all still go being frustrated, going through our own challenges. But we have the Baba who said, you guys, let's see what we can do together. Let's see how, as I speak to you, Baba has already said before he left to me that he will be mentioning this to the governor, and through the commissioner, we will follow up. And so, we have the greatest asset to have that kind of a strong man standing by us in this industry. And because we know what it is involved, he just gave a breakdown. And in that breakdown, he's been too magnanimous. How can you pay yourself 20,000 naira?
I wonder. Yeah,
He's been too magnanimous. And that cost, and that cost came to 1,314 naira or 19 naira. So the truth of the matter is that when you look at it back and forth, our cost of production is not less than 1,400 naira. Yorùbá anybody wà tó ní ẹ̀kú tó ní bàbá nígbà yìí, bàbá máa ń ṣe ìṣirò ẹ̀ dáadáa. Tí bàbá ọba mọ nǹkan kan, wọ́n mọ̀ bó ṣe ń ṣe ìṣirò owó. Baba is so smart and sound. As old as it is, you can never outwit him in terms of this. So he has put pen on paper himself to say, if you don't wrestle yourself out, you will die. And he gave us the scenario when he came down. He said the small ones will first of all go. The middle ones will go. The big ones. But now, the big ones, wọ́n ti ń ṣe ìṣirò, wọ́n ti wọlé, wọ́n ti lulẹ̀. Wọ́n ti lulẹ̀ lẹ́lẹ́kọ̀ọ́kọ́, wọ́n ti lulẹ̀ lẹ́lẹ́kejì. Nítorí pé àwọn ọ̀fẹ́ lulẹ̀ báyìí, láti ti ń pariwo síta, ọlọ́run ẹ̀yìn já lulẹ̀ o. Ọlọ́run ẹ̀yìn já lulẹ̀ o. Torí bá ṣe ń wo future yìí, oblique náà. Oh, sorry, you don't understand. But Shaka, you can do some interpretation. I say the future is so bleak in our industry. And if we don't take that difficult decision to help ourselves and to make sure this group continues to attend to our problems, spending the time where we have the merger,
by God's grace, when we're able to have the merger, this structure will be collapsed into the merger, and it can have a livelihood and watching over the welfare of all of us. Our average age in this room, I can only see young people of my generation and lesser, very few. Our old papas. Yeah, I've known him. In fact, he has known me before they came back to me, because he has known my father before my mama married my papa. Way back 1968, could be beans now. Are you getting it? Before they never born in 1968. In Ikole. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that, please, if this old man, our Baba, can still be consistent, our Baba can still be this consistent, and we are not creating a succor to help the future, I would expect I will see the ages of 18, 20, no, even let's say 18 is even too small for Nigeria. Maybe 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30. I can't find them here. Any young person here actively involved is more than 30. And so we are in trouble. So imagine, God forbid, this generation of active fish farmers are gone. Who feeds the future? Our population is increasing, and we're talking about crime rates. Crime rates will continue to increase. There will continue to be instability. But if we don't rescue ourselves from the hands of all these Mongols, it is never going to be easy. When you take a decision that will move mountains, the guys who will do the work will feel the pain more. But the guys who will buy the chips, the blocks, will enjoy buying granite. But the guys who will move the mountains, we are the guys who will move the mountains. So we've got to feel the pains more. But the guys who will consume, wọ́n kàn máa jẹja ní bọ́bá put ní wọn mọ alpha tó ṣe lọ wọn mọ pẹ̀lú bíà ẹ̀yin kan máa ń sẹ́jẹ̀ so but that is the truth. So please, your plight in Akongba axis has been tailored before Baba. This communicate will also help. We will need to ask for representatives from amongst you when we will be going to meet with the commissioner, and we'll make sure we get something done. Because, and that's why we say we should initially want to break state by state, because each state has their own peculiarity. Another state might be another thing affecting them. So we can now make recommendations and plead with those government and say, please, see, we are also a part of your economy, but these are our challenges that we cannot do. Farmers cannot buy this one bulldozer to continue to dredge. But even if they say we will fuel it, we are ready to fuel it. Just give it to us. Abi, we will fuel it, we will buy the diesel. Just give it to us and let it work. That's what we are asking for. And clear our waterways for us. And I don't think that is difficult for us to get. And by God's grace, we will get it.
Thank you.
Please shield your sword a bit, sir.
And above all, they should give us grants, assistance for us to to stand on our feet again, so that those of us who have lost our source of livelihood can go back to farm. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
So quickly we
All our
want
points are noted.
quickly we want to call on Mr. Pius. Hold on, sir. I thought it's only me, Mr. Steve.
No, I'm okay.
I thought it's only me that is not okay. We are in the same category. Why you say no shaking? Don't do that. Don't shake. So let's have our Pius, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Pius Ogu, and I've been in this grow out business for the past 20 years. Chief Akegulabu has been my customer early. We are in the third group of grow out farmers. The first problem we identified has to do with hatchery operators who sometimes are not honest in dealing with us, because the seedling is very important for the grow out operation, and it is garbage in, garbage out. So that is one of the problems we identified. So we appeal to hatchery operators to be very honest with us, so that they give us good seedlings. We also identify that probably the hatchery operators are having challenges because there are no reputable broodstock banks that bring out the parent stock. So something should be done in that axis. Next, we find that feed, which is responsible for 70% of the cost of production, the feed companies are increasing the price almost weekly. We have just heard now that Olam has just increased their price. Luckily for me, yesterday I bought at a lower price. I bought a blue crown at a lower price. The person that spoke before me talked of flooding and erosion problems, so I will not dwell on that. But that is one of the challenges that grow out operators face at times. Then the issue of adequate financing of the business. For a grow-out operator, we identify that, for example, to grow 1,000 pieces of catfish to 1 kg size, you need a minimum of 67 bags. And so that is a financial outlay. And if you are a good grow-out operator, 1,000 pieces of fish is really not the something. So there is the challenge of getting adequate finance to fund the business. So if there are ways in which we can get assistance, financial assistance, the grow-out operation will work better for us. Then there is what we identified. There are so many fish farmers who are not within the fold of the association. I come from Lagos. There are so many farmers, fish farmers, who are not within the Lagos State Catfish and Allied Farmers Association. So they are always the ones who don't stick to agreed prices if you fix prices. And so there is need for all of us to work very hard to bring all those people into the fold. The issue of pricing, which is the major something in this our Congress, the group looked at what the various selling prices that are operating now, from those at Lusada to those at Ijaniki, Ijebode, Shagamu, and Eruwan. Most of the average selling price is 1,500. 1,500 per kilo. And we discussed that a kilo is a kilo and that it should be enforced. Then we now ask ourselves, what is the average production cost of 1 kg of catfish? We spent a lot of time on this. Probably there is the feeling that not very many farmers are keeping adequate records, sorry to say. But we now identified amongst us that the cost of producing 1 kg of catfish is 1,700. And so with that, we now recommended that the selling price of 1 kg of catfish, please note, a kg is a kg. So the recommended selling price that we agreed and are suggesting is 2,000 naira. We also identified that there were some of the farmers who call themselves fish farmers, they are not practicing, they are not having good management practices in their farms. There are so many examples. Some people use some hormones and so on and so forth. So that should be tackled. Then the issue of enforcing enforcing the prices that are being recommended now. We are suggesting that there should be a task force to enforce this pricing. And this task force should have adequate information on the farmers within a particular area. We also recommended that establishment of cooperatives could help. The example we gave is that if, for example, a farmer is now hard pressed for cash, and if he's a member of a cooperative, he can fall back on the cooperative and get some money more from his cooperative so that he will not sell under pressure. So these are some of the things that we discussed. Thank you very much.
Papa, please you can sit. Thank you very much. There's this popular adage in Yoruba. Oh man, you are here. I will try to say it in English. But let's enjoy it first in Yoruba. Àgbà kí ń wà lọ́jà tó tó parí òwe ẹ̀yìn bàbá mi o. Kí orí ọmọ tuntun kó wọ́ àgbà yẹn á dalẹ̀ sí o. Gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa tó wà nílé àgbà yẹn á dalẹ̀ sí o. Ohun tẹ́ fi parí ẹ̀ bàbá, you speak a bit of Yoruba because you've been around for a long time. By God's grace, God will give you longer life. These are the babas who 20 years is no joke. Probably retired. Can speak. See, he's well schooled and educated. He probably retired and resigned into active fish farming for 20 good years. And he's been able to give us a detailed analysis and recommendation of what he feels or their group feels we should adopt. How much is the price of crate of egg today? How much is the cost of crate of egg today?
1,700.
2,000. 2,000.
Yes.
Baba, your final conclusion on the price. We will get there. We'll get there. But I think the whole house is beginning to agree and see that there's a need for us to improve on our present price and to remove this segmentation quickly. If we don't remove the segmentation, no matter how much of increase we put in those prices, that segmentation still brings us down. That's the idea. It still keeps bringing us down, and we are unable to make profits. So if we want to make this industry attractive, and we want younger people to go into it, the prices of, by the time they punch it on calculator, they must be able to say that, okay, if I put ₦1 million, I can get 1.5 million naira in 90 days, in 120 days, good business, and they can remain. We have all agreed that, and we have seen that it is important for us to increase our prices. The 2,000 naira that you have recommended, it is not that it is a bad idea. In fact, I will jump for it. I'm sure a lot of farmers will jump for it. But we will consciously move to that with time. Please, we need your unanimous support to say that, do we agree that we should sell minimum on our farm 1,500, regardless of the sizes? Do we all agree? Yes. Do we all, if you don't agree, please raise up your hand. If you agree, please raise up your hand. The eyes have you to. The camera can pick it. If you all agree on the improvement on the price, please raise up your hand. That we should agree to start with 1,500 minimum now across board, and that we will review time to time to adjust our price upwards. Otherwise, we all will be submerged. We all agree to that. The eyes have it. Those who do not agree. If you do not agree, let the camera pick it. What is it? I want to want the eyes have it. I'm a very articulate activist on the street, but we are trying to be formal. I hope you are not catching that. But that is the truth, really. The truth of the matter is we have to stay together to survive. Baba recommended again for the often time that we must have the task force team in place, and that's very important. We know ourselves that are active farmers. With your permission, sir, Mr. Chairman, I think the time is right for us to now have a tax fund group or a task force group, and then we can now have what we call a trust fund with time on the bigger associations and when we're able to match successfully. And the idea is that everybody will have to contribute. All farmers will have to contribute. The idea of what the bigger task force is going to be with time is that it's going to be like the way unions run their union. When they get to your farm and you get any information and they say you are selling, underselling, you lock up your farm, and we are going to be backed by law to do that. That's what we want to do. Otherwise, some people will just destroy us. If I wouldn't know if the farmer who lost 50 tons would like to just show off his face. Wow. Wow. That is the man standing. No, not everybody will survive that. If you are able to use 50 tons of fish in this present day, you cannot survive that.
Young man.
And that is the man standing there. So what do we do to get him back? Infrastructure's gone, staff gone, we have to start afresh. And so those are the kind of things we need to do for ourselves, to say, please, you can have your sister. And we'll not just pray for you, we'll find a way to also support you. Because it's important that we support you. And we need to support ourselves. So our take home today, we're still trying to see if Baba will be here. Our take home today will be that we must be able to go with a new mindset. And the new mindset is that we must be able to review our prices of work and to begin, before we leave here, to tell your customers that are coming to buy fish from tomorrow that things have changed. Don't ever sell under pressure. Things have changed. Because whatever we decide here, we will reverberate around the entire country. Others are not able to come. Yes, we say it's a southwestern thing because we are the largest producer of fish, taking the moon and back in Nigeria. And so we use our negotiating power to say we come together to rescue ourselves. Otherwise, we get knocked down and we never rise up again. So the idea for us basically is to say, I'm sure our brothers and sisters also in the South region will follow suit immediately. That's how we can really help ourselves. And our counterparts too in the Middle Belt, in the North Central, South, Northeast, Northwest will also follow suit because it has to go around. And like Baba said, once we finish arranging and putting our house in order as fish farmers in the Southwest, we'll do the same thing around to sensitize farmers on costing, education, consumer education. And so please, I also want to plead with you that this is an initiative brought about by a few of us. At any point in time that we'll be needing your contribution in terms of media, continuous education of consumers, publicity on the radio, please feel free to contribute. Everybody who came here today, I'm sure the bulk of us all contributed. Each sacrifices. Some 100,000, 200,000, and that's how we contributed to say, let's come together and let's help ourselves. Everybody cannot make a change. But the few of us that can make that change, let's rally around and make sure that change is sustained. And so when the time comes for us to say, please contribute, let's contribute to help. Because at this time out, by tomorrow or thereabouts, the jingles will be held to back it up. to start the education of the consumers. Also make sure that wọ́n gbọ́ nílé, wọ́n gbọ́ lóko pé mo lè máa sọ ìbò ńgbà gbogbo. Kò ń dùn lẹ́nu tó bá sọ báwọn ìfẹ́ sọ wọ́n gbọ́ nílé, wọ́n gbọ́ lóko lóyìnbó tó máa dùn. Kò ní wọlé dáadáa. So wọ́n láti máa gbọ́ nílé, wọ́n gbọ́ lóko pé àwa àgbẹ̀ ẹlẹ́ja àti jíyà lọ́sùnmọ́. So the people will go around radio stations, our social media, our different associations and groups, and we will begin to review. It is proper for us to say, let's put the first step forward. Kilo is a kilo. 1,500 naira per kilo. Ṣé kí ìbálẹ̀ ti lọ sókè? Àblé mọ táwọn ará làwọn táwọn àwọn náà wọ́n lè ní ṣòwò ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Àwa náà àbúrò ṣòwò ṣọ́ọ̀bù. Wọ́n tá bá produce. Ohun tí àwọn tó bá lè rà náà lọ́wọ́ wa, bá rà lọ́wọ́ wa ní wọ́n ta lọ. Tẹ́ bá lè so in proper economics, the market will always find its level. But if nobody takes a decision, àwọn tó ń tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ wọn kò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ á lè máa tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ lọ tẹ̀ bá bára nílẹ̀. So bó ṣe ṣe nínú ẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ wa àwọn ọ̀bẹ yàtọ̀ fún wa láti sọ tẹ̀lé ká sọ. Depending the time, I will have to check to know if Baba is closed. I'll check and I'll also get back to you if you still be making us. Otherwise,
Okay.
I'll check.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steve. Okay. Please let us appreciate it. Mr. Steve, as you said, is the convener of this conference. Now we have been talking. People come here to talk. There are some of us also that we still want to say one or two things, so we are going to give you the opportunity to talk. But before that, let me say something based on what we have been seeing so far. Whatever we are agreeing upon here today starts operating from tomorrow. You agree? By implication, it means that buyers that are coming to market tomorrow, we can do well by telling them that this is the price we are selling. Actually, we just have to start somewhere. If you say want to postpone it, what will even happen at that time? So that is why all of us, we have agreed and we are going to start right now. One thing that we'll be taking is that if you are saying a kilo is a kilo, what about those Ewolowolo of the land, or whatever we call it? But we all know that it's not the pieces that make 1 kilo in the land, but to be for either smallest or bigger medium. And aside from that, if buyers are tired of buying our land for 1,500 or whatever we are them, then it will also help us to produce to the level that we are buying. In the area where I come from, most of the fish we produce is 2 kilo, 3 kilo, and we have market for it. Markets will find its level like water. Those who say, who cannot do without this product, they will still come to buy it. Just as I said, it is what we buy that we are going to sell. When we also buy it, it will have effect on what they are going to sell. One good thing is that right from last week, I have been receiving calls even from as far as I know that they are waiting for our outcome of this conference for them to follow suit. And I'm very sure today, of course, they're going to say it in the news. As soon as they also heard about it, they also start implementing it. So it is good for us. So I'll give the mic to the MC. If you have any of us who want to say one or two things in support of what we've been saying so far, so that nobody will be left behind. We are all together in this boat. So the floor is open. What's about 2 3 minutes?
So quickly, we'll make it very snappy. Okay, so just tell us your name, your location.
My name is Adewale Adeoru. I want to commend the convener of this meeting and actually commend all those that have participated. Mr. Steve mentioned something about task force and monitoring officers. I think that's very, very important. Very, very important. If decisions are not taken on that, we might not be able to achieve the desired result. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adedayo Ashemi from Lara. I want to commend the convener of this Congress. Thank you very much. This is what we need. My comment is that on the pricing, what do we do about the bulk buyers? Do we sell to bulk buyers just like we sell to other buyers? What do we do about the pricing? For example, I am a bulk buyer. I buy catfish and I sell to consumers. I buy in bulk. What about the pricing? At what price are we producers selling to bulk buyers and to other consumers? Thank you.
All of the questions have been noted, so it's going to be addressed together. I think we'll just have 2 more, then we'll have more.
Great farmers. My name is Patrick. My question is that those of us that grow big fishes, at least like the size started from like 3 kg upward. With my own little experience, we can't sell at the rate of 1.5. That's my own point of view. And I have a very small or little advice for our fellow farmers. Please, let us make sure that our farm will always carry the erosion parts. Because most people, those are part of it that push them to sell at the rate of less prices. When we see that they is falling and have to do their fishes, anybody that does not any kind of thing.
Kudos to the organizers of this meeting. I would say it's one of the best farming in recent times. My advice, my name is Dr. I'm from Osun State. I came with Federal programming. I was in Abuja. I came back home to go into farming, and I've not regretted it. But my advice is, yes, we want to set up a task force. We should realize that it comes with a cost. I think more of these sessions should be organized in different states to talk to people from time to time. We should be ready to contribute money so that we can have more people. You know, a lot of farmers are not together, and they are not, the level of awareness is still not there. So we need to do more to sensitize, to also raise it. God bless.
What from a lady, a woman? Okay, then one woman. Why are the women not speaking?
Hey farmers, my name is Olamide Fashola from IDIPR Area. They have commended the organizer of this Congress. It's a great effort. But I want to bring to our memory Mr. Lazarus, I believe you can hear me, Mr. Adayo, and Mr. Amo. This summit and the team of this summit, like the first of its kind in the Southwest, but we have taken efforts in this regard at Ijebu zone severally. But ever since we have been making efforts in this regard, it has been failing. I don't know whether before I came late, apology on that. It's not deliberate. I have issues with can't bring it, but I don't know whether the reason behind the failure in the past have been addressed. Because the percentage of farmers that we have here today, I can say we are so small compared to the practitioners in the field. And the policy we are going to arrive at today, those of us that are here, we are few in the implementation. And that's what they are talking about. We have to, this effort of unifying our price and enforcing it for the benefit of farmer is a very great task. And as you have said, it is what is pushing us back in the industry, and we are harming ourselves, either knowingly or unknowingly. But the issue is, if we can go back home as we are more than this in the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Hold on before we'll take from two women. Interestingly, Papa is going to be with us shortly. You understand? So that's somebody that is passionate about the industry. So, but before we take from the two women, from the various groups, we want you to put all the things we discussed, like we said here, put it out clearly, then you can do a submission of it. So these are not things, so I won't give any of this important information when I'm attended to. So let's have some women.
Good evening, and I wish to commend the presenters and the organizers for such a wonderful meeting today. There is my comment, and that obviously the fish industry needs lobbyists. Many of the things we are discussing here is very important, but it's also on the operational level. I think for us to be very effective, we will need lobbyists at the strategic level that will influence not only policy, but as we mentioned, subsidy and insurance, but also to be able to encourage the young ones by targeting institutions of maybe those that are studying fisheries that have first class and things like that, so that there will be a succession plan on the next generation. Definitely, fishery is very important, but not only at a local level, because even at the EU, you find out that the fishing industry is influenced by the EU, by the government, and so ECOWAS can be affected. You can bring in the AU, and you can also bring the international level. So, thank you.
Let's put our hands together.
Olúwa dára sí fún wa, bàbá o, bàbá o, bàbá o. Olúwa dára sí fún wa, bàbá o, bàbá o, bàbá o. Olúwa dára sí fún wa, bàbá o, bàbá o, bàbá o. Olúwa dára sí fún wa.
Welcome back, sir. Yes, sir. Have your seat. Ó ṣe kìíní olùlẹ̀, ó ṣe kẹta olùlẹ̀, ó ṣe kẹrin olùlẹ̀, ẹ má jẹ́ kó ṣe kẹrin. So that has been the song so far. So quickly wrap up, then we'll rush up almost right now.
So I just want to thank you and say that there is so much prospect for us here, but for us to also make more impact on the strategic level, we will need active lobbyists to lobby at different levels and grant us what we are looking for collectively for us to survive.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Just from one woman. Woman, are you a woman? When? When? Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to the conveners of this wonderful occasion. Well, Mr. said you're saying the women are not talking. Maybe because the men are bearing the economy of the household, We are just like supportive. But I want to say I'm very happy today to be in such an occasion like this. And Mr. Steve was talking about the next generation, the next generation. Well, I've been in this business and I found that after each circle, I'll have to ask my little son, please, can you borrow me money? Do you understand? And each time mommy comes today, just as if she's going to ask for money again. And they are not really encouraged to be a future in what I'm doing. But I think with today's pricing, and like we all said, we're doing it for the future. And really, we need to fight for our future. And with this, if I can break even, I'm sure I won't have to ask my little son for support. And if you can see that mommy can stand, mommy can run a business, and mommy is doing well in a business, my son is wanting to study entrepreneurship, and I was asking him, he never participated in my business. But I know why, because they don't see a future in it. But if I'm able to break even and I'm doing well, I'm sure the future will look to us. Thank you.
That's a very good one. I think we'll hold on with all of that. We have a lot to do with already. And I told you that the engagement is going to continue after today. But there are a few areas that we'll be looking at maybe in the nearest future, the nearest engagement. That's in the area of specialization. You can't be a jack of all. You can't be in all of the value chain. So we'll look at that subsequently. Then EIA is another very important thing. Environmental impact assessment, where we locate, where we site our farms, our businesses to, is very, very important. And we should ensure that we don't constitute environmental nuisances in our various farm locations. Then jingles too. After today, most of the resolutions, the communique will be passed across different social media platforms and TV and radio. Then the processors too, they are very, very important to what we're doing. So if you want to be a processor, you need to carry on the whole armor and do things that will be internationally acceptable, that will represent us. So it's not for everybody. So if you want to be a processor, you need to know how to do it well so that you can get certified.